good evening, everybody. Welcome to a post-game Sunday night edition of the Glen Kuiper Show, All Giants. We appreciate you stopping by. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We love our subscribers. They're coming on strong lately, and we certainly appreciate that. And we get to talk about a victory today. So this is what we're going to cover today. We have a special guest, which we're going to bring in just a little bit. But obviously a win today. We haven't had a lot of those lately, so it'll be fun to talk about that. Talk about all these close games the Giants have played this year and where the runners in scoring position, unfortunately, comes into play there. Also go over what I think the Giants should and should not do in the final 6 weeks of the season. We'll catch up on the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers making a statement today. And also, I thought something fun. In fact, I'm watching it on TV right now. The game at the Little League ballpark there in Williamsport. It's called the Little League Classic. It's the Mariners and Mets, a very cool thing. And want to talk about that and some of the cool things that Major League Baseball has done in the last 4 or 5 years to kind of engage more fans and more youth. And quite frankly, I think it's working. So that's what the show is going to have. We'll get started in just a little bit. But as always, we have to acknowledge our sponsors. They are good people, as our show is brought to you by, starting with the Carrig Real Estate Team. Since 1978, the Carrig Real Estate Team has been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay with a legacy of client-first service. Whether you're moving out, downsizing, or making your first purchase, we've all been there, folks. Trust the Carrig Real Estate Team to guide you home. Contact Mike Carrig today for a free home sale or purchase consultation. Call the number on the screen, 925-548-4132, and also check out their website, carrigteam.com. We're also brought to you by the good folks at Tilden Properties. As an investor, one of the best places to put your money is California's multi-family real estate. By investing with Tilden Properties, you'll see quality dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. Bay Area-based, family-owned, Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. Call 925-209-8558 for more information. And check out their website. See what they got going. They are a very, very successful group. It's tildenproperties.com. So we thank our sponsors as always. So let's get started with the show. We got a great guest today. One of my favorite people I've got to know over the last 3-4 months. He's helped me a great deal with my show. And he has a pretty darn good show himself covering the Giants podcast on the YouTube. His name is Eric Romo. He's in charge of Giants Sports Talk Live. You've seen his face. He's on with Marty. He's on with Larry. He's been on with me. Good all-around guy, good sports guy, knows his Giants. And I really wanted to have him on. And first of all, Eric, before we get into all the stuff we're going to talk about, straight up, I want to thank you for all your help. You've helped me a lot. You've worked on the Friday Night Kipes shows, which we're now putting out on my YouTube channel. So you've been a huge help. And, you know, I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate it.
Awesome, Glenn. Hey, I'm glad to help out. I love doing this stuff. It's fun. You know, for me, it doesn't feel like a job. And, you know, and those Friday Night Kipes are absolutely gold. When I get those recordings and I get to hear it and then put it together, absolutely fantastic stuff. And I'm glad to help out any way I can. You know, I've figured out this stuff a little bit as the longer I've been doing this, I'm kind of figuring it out. And wherever I can help, I love to help out, whether it's you, Marty, myself. I helped out Dan. Of course, Ryan knows all about that. So I love it. It's fun times. And hey, it's about one of my favorite subjects, Giants baseball.
Well, you're very talented too. You do a good job on air, but you have a skill, a producing skill behind the scenes too, which, you know, for
Thanks.
people like me, we need guys like you. So I did want to, you know, lead it off with that because you've been a huge help. So thank you for that. Giants to win it. We actually get to talk about a W, and they have been few and far between, but 7-1 was the final. 38,876 in the building. Crowds keep coming out, and finally they got something to cheer for. But I guess it all started with Logan Webb. We shouldn't be surprised, Eric. It's what he does. He seems to do it almost every outing. But he was great today. And as the game went on, you're going, oh, man, not again. We just saw it last night. Guy pitches great. But finally, the Giants broke through. But I think Webb and the fact that the fans finally got something to cheer for today, because there was some excitement, some 2-out hits, and it just feels good to talk about a W.
Absolutely. And one thing I loved about Logan Webb, not only did he go 7 innings, he only went 86 pitches.
Yep.
I mean, he was efficient today. Even his last outing, he got a little snake bit there, later in the game in his last outing.
Yep.
But he used his ground balls. I mean, that's what he does. He pitches to contact, gets those ground balls, but he's also been getting those strikeouts. So it was great to see that the lineup pick up a pitcher, because yesterday Verlander threw a gem.
Same thing. Yep. It was the same type of start.
I couldn't believe I'm looking at the sixth inning. I'm like, I'm seeing a cricket number. It's been a while since we've seen a cricket number in any of these games. And like you said, the two out, the success that they were having today was awesome. And it was great to see. And there's one guy that I like to talk about. I've been talking about him lately, Dom Smith. Yep. That guy. He's a type of hitter that they think the Giants have been missing throughout much of the year. And it was great that they picked him up.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting, and this is something we could get to later. But what do you do with Dom Smith? Is he a thought for next year? But like I said, we'll get to that. But I think that's a fair thing. But let's finish with Webb. So he's now 11-9. His ERA goes down to 3.19. And this is the thing that jumps out at me, Eric, is he now has 175 strikeouts in 160 innings. That's fourth most in the majors. And, we never thought about Webb as a strikeout guy. Hard sinker, a lot of ground balls. But to me, that says a lot about him, because he has done a couple things to be able to increase his strikeout totals. And now he can get a strikeout when he needs it. And I don't know that he could do that a couple years ago. But there's only 4 guys, Eric, in the major leagues that have more strikeouts. I take it back. There's only 3. I wrote them down. Crochet, Wheeler, and Skubal. Those are the only pitchers in the big leagues that have more strikeouts than Logan Webb. He's got more than Skeens, right? So you just don't think about him as a strikeout guy, but maybe we need to start doing that. He's going to get, if he stays healthy, which there's no reason why he won't, he's going to get to 200 strikeouts. And that is a testament to him really taking his game as a pitcher to the next level this year. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. Obviously his numbers probably should be better. He could easily have 13 or 14 wins, but that's the way it is as a starting pitcher. But to change your style a little bit and then be so successful at it, not a lot of guys can do that.
It's incredible. You put out those numbers, and it's funny as Giants fans, we're kind of spoiled. We really don't know what we have. We see, you mentioned names, Crochet, Skeens, Wheeler, Skubal. And now you're in this company.
Sure.
I'm talking about Logan Webb. So, and that, there's a lot of argument. You hear this a lot. Is Logan Webb an ace? Well, I think this year, specifically this year, because of his strikeout totals, you could say that he is an ace.
I think so. Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's the durability thing that stands out to me. Right? I mean, how many guys go out there every day, every fifth day? And I don't know that he always feels great. I think there may be starts this year where, something may be barking a little bit, but the durability thing to me puts him in what I would consider an ace category.
Right. I mean, you could count on him, right?
Yep.
You can almost put it in the book, unless he has a weird outing, 6, 7, sometimes more every time he grabs the ball. And the thing I like about him is he's a competitor. He just wants to go out there and he wants to win, and he tries to do everything he can in his power to lead his team to victory. And it's great to see him. And I love the success he's had. I think he talked about this a few weeks ago. He said, I think in 21, he had that 4-seamer, but he had kind of went away from it.
Sure. Yeah.
And now it looks like he's reintroduced it again to give another little wrinkle so people can't realize, or not time up his stuff. Sure. He's got a little wrinkle in it.
Yeah. He never had a pitch really that he could elevate a little bit. Everything's down, but that's fine. He had them, but now he can elevate a little bit when he has to. And you see him get a lot of strikeouts with a high fastball. I mean, it's a really good story for this year. Whatever happens with these Giants, I think the Webb story is great. And you mentioned the 6th inning. It all came together for the Giants in the bottom of the 6th inning. And I always go back to just the fans. They've been so great this year. And I say that because I think they want so desperately to cheer. I think they kind of like this team, but yet they're frustrated with this team. So when a play like what Adames did, where he scored from first on on what was the Smith single. I mean, he scored from first, but he took a chance, and it was exciting. And he, little things like that, I think, are what fans love to see. And you have to have the personnel to do things like that. But it was that kind of play that I think we probably haven't seen enough of this year. Where it's a daring play, but it's exciting, and it gave the Giants at that point a 3-0 lead. But it sort of stood out to me, and give Adamas some credit for that.
Absolutely, that was great hustle, right? He's trying to do
trying. That's exactly. He's not trying. He's not doing stupid things by trying, but he's trying, to just get a spark for this whole team, a spark for the dugout. And that to me says, these guys are thinking about this. They know they're disappointing the fans. I've heard Bob Melvin say it a lot lately. I've heard Willie Adamas say it. I heard Matt Chapman say it. I think they feel the disappointment, and they're disappointed that they can't put a better product on the field for these huge crowds that show up pretty much every game.
Absolutely.
They feel it, man. They feel the same way.
I absolutely. They're not robots, right? Nope. They're human. They're flesh and blood. They're going to have the emotions that anyone else may have, and they're going to be just as frustrated. And it may affect them. It may not. But today, you're talking about excitement. Look at Jung-Hoo Lee catching fly balls with his knee. You got young Drew Gilbert gets his first big league home run, which was awesome. So there was just a bunch of stuff today that just got the teams, maybe the juices flowing a little bit. Maybe it started with the Jung-Hoo Lee catch with his knee, because it wasn't shortly after that where the Giants, started doing a little bit of something. So it's nice to see the guys go out there and just being able to show some results, because look, Adamas, right, had a nice line shot, found the glove. Yesterday, Jung-Hoo Lee hits one in a triples alley. That's a triple. But there was a great defensive play on the other end, and it negated. So there's been times where they've tried to get something going, just didn't fall their way. Today, it fell their way.
I thought, in that sixth inning where they scored their runs, they got a couple 2-out hits. They got 4 hits in the inning, which is, it's a lot for any team. And I kind of chuckled because my brother Dwayne said, "Oh my God, it's a bonanza," and I think that's the way. I think that's kind of the way we felt. It's been a struggle this year, right? And I chuckled when he said it. He's pretty witty up there. I've known the guy for a while now, but I just laughed when he said, "Oh my God, it's a bonanza." That's the way he felt it. I think that's the way a lot of people felt, because the hits came boom, 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 which we just haven't seen a lot of this year.
Right, and he's capturing the fan. That's the fan coming out right there, right? Everyone's thinking the same thing. Oh my gosh, it's a, as he said, a bonanza. I love it. That is absolutely great.
So, anyways, they get to they fly, and I think there is such thing as a happy flight. I was at many charters, and guys don't change a lot after a win or a loss. But listen, I think there is a little relaxation if you can fly to the next city with a win. And, let's give Drew Gilbert some credit. The young man, it's been a tough go, right? 1 for 20, seeing big league pitching. Mike and Dwayne were talking about it today. He's probably thinking, am I ever going to see a fastball? Is that all they do is throw changeups and sliders? And, I think the young man has some talent. And he finally had a home run today. He's got some spot. He's got a little moxie to him too. Mm-hmm. There's a little flair there, maybe a little cockiness, which I got no problem with, right? But then he had I like the base hit late in the game too. He's got a couple pitches to hit. So listen, we don't know what kind of player he is. He's a prospect, but it was nice to see a young man finally have some success, really in front of the big crowd, and they're dying for this young man to do something good as well.
Absolutely. And that second hit, man, he clobbered that thing. That's kind of what his traits are, right? A contact guy, makes line drive shots. The home run was fantastic. He put a nice charge into that one. But it's great. Yeah, I mean, goodness, I can't even imagine what it must be like, coming to the big leagues the very first time. You're in these huge cathedrals, right? and you got, as you said, 30,000+ fans screaming. It's got to be a little bit of nerves going on.
Well, absolutely, it's natural to I mean, I think it's hard for all of us to try at all to understand what it's like to do anything in front of 35,000 people, where everything you do is chronicled and commented on. I mean, listen, they get paid a lot of money. I know that's always the thing, but I think it's hard for all of us to understand that it for a young man like that who gets to a new team, he's in the big leagues for the first time. They want to do well so bad. It's not surprising when they struggle right away.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even talking about guys have better sliders here, guys have better fastballs here, guys have better changeups here. We're not even talking about that. We're just talking about kind of that maybe anxiety and a little stress where you're like, man, I want to do so good. This is my new team. And it's tough initially. Mm-hmm. And I think when they finally do something good, I just think everything the relaxation just takes over their body. And you know what? He'll start playing better. We don't know what he's going to do, but don't be surprised if he now starts playing a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Get that monkey off your back, so to speak, right? And then, God, I just couldn't imagine, it's one thing in public speaking, but you're performing in front of 30-something thousand, and you said everything is examined. You got to worry about guys like us coming on here, and I don't think they worry about that, but it's out there. So I can't imagine that the guy must be feeling great, and hey, maybe it unleashes something from him. We'll see.
Yeah. So upcoming, nothing easy for the Giants. They go to San Diego for 4, to Milwaukee for 3. And I put those numbers up for you, Eric. The home records for the Padres and the Brewers, 38-20 for San Diego. And we know what the atmosphere down there is like. It's terrific. And the atmosphere in Milwaukee is off the charts now, too. The Brewers are 42-20. They finally lost today and ended their 14-game winning streak. But those I did some quick math, and I'm 98% sure I was right. But those are the 2 best home records in the National League. So that's what the Giants have on this road trip. So I chronicled this road trip before the homestand started, and that's why I felt like obviously a good homestand was paramount. It didn't happen, but you knew that you have this road trip sitting there at the end of it, and now here it is. So this is going to be a tough one for the Giants. They need to play absolutely. I don't want to say perfect ball, but they have to play pretty close to perfect baseball, because this is 2 really, really good teams who are probably going to both make the postseason, and they're playing in their park where the atmosphere is terrific in both places. So it's going to be interesting. Let's hope the orange and black tighten up the shoes and make sure that they play good baseball. Otherwise, listen, it could get ugly. I'm just being honest here.
Right. And then you look, you're down a man in Chapman, right? You kind of saw that coming. You just by the way he was playing, you could tell he just wasn't 100%.
Something was wrong. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And lo and behold, his hand has still been bugging him. Then you got Schmidt. I love watching Schmidt, now he got hit in the arm. Hopefully he comes back tomorrow. But let's talk about this. You got San Diego, who just lost 3 in a row to the Dodgers. Yeah. Maybe we could catch them at the right time. Who knows? The Giants still got to go out there, and you still got to execute. You still got to compete, because they're not just going to lay down just because they got whooped, right? They're going to go out there and give you their A game.
Yeah, but on top of all that, this is the Padres are really talented.
They are
a good team. Yeah.
And that bullpen, right? We saw it in Oracle Park. If you don't have a lead going into the 5th inning, right? Or even, the 5th inning, it's an uphill climb.
Yeah. And
it won't be easy. And of course, Milwaukee, my gosh, they're just playing with their hair on fire. Unbelievable. It's fantastic. Yeah. As a baseball fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I find them to be, and I said it on my show, the last show I did, that they are the most fascinating team in baseball to me, because they have really good players, but I don't know that a lot of people know about the Brewers and how they play, but they drive you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They run around, they steal bases, they can hit home runs, they're aggressive, they play great defense. I mean, they sort of have the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, they're kind of a team you root for a little bit. So, anyways, that's what's sitting there for the Giants coming up. Eric, what I like to do is after each little segment that I do, I like to check with our comments and see if anybody has any questions or if anybody wants to check in. And we got a whole bunch of them. We appreciate. I love when people check in. Daniel S says Eric's blowing up. He's everywhere. Eric's doing a doubleheader, folks. He's doing a doubleheader. He was on with Marty. He said, I'll come on with you. So it's a doubleheader for Eric. See, everybody wants your knowledge, Eric. It's important.
I don't know. Hey, don't blow up my head too much. Actually, it's going to be a triple header. I'm going to be going on again at 8:30 over there with Dan. So it's I just have fun. I enjoy doing this. It's great times. I wish they were winning a little bit more, but hey, it's baseball, right?
Yep, that's baseball. Right. All right, let's see. Dean says, nice aggressiveness on the base paths. Where'd it go? I lost it. Anyways, there it is. Even with Cost getting thrown out, I like that they went for it. They need more of that. I absolutely agree. I mean, and Cost was, he was actually safe. I think it looked like the shortstop may have pushed his hand off the bag, which I don't think you're allowed to do. But you know what? It's yeah, you got to do that. And I don't think this team at times this year has done that enough. So anyways, let's see. If the Giants finish around 80 and 83 wins, they're basically at their expectation building blocks. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I think that the reason why expectations went higher was because they really did play pretty good baseball for the first 2.5 months of the season. And then all of our expectations sort of jumped up. And then, these tough times have hit. So let's see. Funton says the key rest of the way is, can our third starter be consistent the rest of the way? And can Verlander be Verlander? Well, I think, Verlander, I think we know what we're going to get here. He's going to have some tough outings. He's going to, he will battle for 5-6 innings. And I think Roop is great. I'm glad he's back, but I think you got to be careful with Roop. And then we'll see what happens with a fifth starter.
Right.
That spot is sort of open right now. So.
Blade Tidwell, maybe.
Well, that's something we're going to get to, Eric. Are the Brew Crew actually a World Series team? Can they actually do it when it counts? I think they are. They got really good pitching. And what they do is they don't rely on home runs. They have a very high team batting average. They steal a ton of pitches. They walk a lot. So they're one of those teams that just puts a lot of pressure on. And, I think that can work in the postseason. I know they lost a heartbreaking series last year. Remember Eric Alonso hit the home run in Milwaukee?
That was dramatic.
Steal the series from, and that just crushed the Brewers. So I absolutely think they could be they could be a force in the postseason. They play the game the right way and they get after it and they play aggressive. They don't sit back and wait for a home run. So I think they're going to be a fascinating team to watch come postseason. Yeah,
absolutely. And wow, Glenn, you're telling me batting average matters, huh? Wow. Right?
Well, when you don't see a high enough batting average, yes, then it matters. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any other comments here, and then we'll move on to my next thing.
Got Anthony Millard there.
Kuiper and Romo has a nice ring to it. Best 1-2 punch since Lincecum and Kane.
Hey, look at that. How about that? Not too bad. Yeah, when I used to call him Marty. That's when I was still in the Air Force.
Were you Eric from Travis Air Force?
I was actually Eric from Beale at that time. Eric from Beale. Yeah, that's great. That's how me and Marty got, together. It's cool.
Marty's a good man.
He is.
All right, let's move on to we got a ton of comments, which I love it. I love you people, and I really do try to get to all of it. But it's also hard to, as you know, Eric, it's hard to do the show and host the show and also keep an eye on the comments. So maybe as time goes on, I will get a little better than that. Yeah, I talked about this, Eric. I don't know, maybe let's see, I want to get that up. Maybe a couple of weeks ago. maybe 3 weeks ago on a show, and I found it really interesting. And I'm gonna run the numbers by you. They're updated numbers. We've seen that, and the reason I bring it up is because it fits perfectly in what happened Friday night when the Giants lose 7-6, and it fits perfectly with what happened last night when the Giants lose 2-1. Right. So I'm thinking, man, just what would the difference in just one more hit in a game be this year for the Giants? So if you look it up, Giants have lost 23 one-run games, okay? They've lost 18 two-run games, okay? So you add it up, right? That's 41 games where they've lost by 1 or 2 runs, right? So 64 losses total, 41 of those by 1 or 2 runs. That's 64%. So 2/3 of their losses this year have been by 1 or 2 runs. And if you just think about the first 2 games of this series and then think about those numbers, the Giants are hitting .234 with runners in scoring position. But the last 2 months, it's significantly worse than that. We all know that. So it really got me to thinking, and it has stuck with me. How many of those losses would have been wins with one more hit with runners in scoring position, or a little bit better manufacturing runs, which the Giants have not done a great job with, right? Getting that runner home from third with a sac fly, or how about this? Just putting it in play to get a run home. So, and it kind of makes you realize that even one extra hit with runners in scoring position, how many more games would that have helped them win? I don't know. I don't have that number. It would be a guess by me. It would be a guess by you. But it just shows you how those small things, a flare with a runner in scoring position, driving a run, putting the ball in play with a guy at third and less than 1 out. How many, if the Giants were able to be better at that this year, how many more games would they have won? How many more of those 41 games they lost by 1 run or 2 runs, how many of those could they have won? And I think about it. Yandy Diaz, who's a very good hitter, right, for the Rays. We saw him on, what did he do on Friday night?
Went the other way.
Field, just flipped it to right field with 2 outs. Last night, what did he do? Fastball, he waits. He's a little late on it, but he hits a kind of a soft line drive to right field, drives in the go-ahead. It's just little things like that. And when I talk about this, I almost get a little frustrated, Eric, because really, the Giants have been so close to winning many of these tight games, but they haven't. And I think it's obviously costing them. It's going to cost them, maybe a postseason berth. I don't know, but I find it very interesting, and then you think about all these close games.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's probably what leads to so much more frustration to the fans.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Because everybody is seeing. You watch these games and you could see
one more hit.
One hit. That's all it was. Right. How many times have we seen runners in scoring position and just as you said with Yandy, you just poke the bat out there, right? Yeah. Just put it in play. You don't have to go and swing out of your shoes to try right? Just put the bat to ball and then see what happens. Because you never know. It could even if it's a hit that the defense could easily play, they still have to catch it. They still have to throw it.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. It's just it really is. And I think you and I feel the same way many of the fans do, and that's where I think maybe the frustration is there, because you feel like they've been really close to winning a lot of games where the game is over, and you kind of go, man, they could have easily won that game. And when you say that over and over and over and over after losses, I think that gets frustrating for fans, because you feel like you're pretty close to winning a lot of games. But you know what? They didn't. They didn't get the hit. They didn't manufacture a run. They didn't do a better job of getting a run home. And listen, that's the reality of it.
And you know what's amazing about that? When we talk about that, we're not even talking about the pitching, because it's the pitching has been the
pitching's been okay.
It's been.
They may be leaking oil a little bit in the bullpen now, but they traded guys. You know what I mean? I mean, they went and said, hey, let's see if we can, get some young guy. I mean, the trades were. I didn't have a problem with making those trades. I really didn't. But I still, the pitching's been fine. I don't think that's
right. And that's has a really.
It could be the issue. The bullpen could be the issue in the final 6 weeks, but there's reasons for that. Trades were made. Good relievers were traded.
But in the previous few months or the last few months, the pitching's kept you in it. It's the hitting that just did right. They kept you in it, keep you in it, and that's why I felt so strong about the Giants. For the simple fact the pitching was just incredible. And again, once Roop went down and Birdsong, and then things got a little bit weird, a little bit wonky. But yeah. Hey, that's the beauty of baseball, right? You never know. Every season is a little bit different in how it plays out, and we're in the midst of it right now.
You sound like Marty. You've been hanging out with Marty. That's baseball.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is, right?
All right, we're going to move on. Our next segment is this: what the Giants should and should not do. And I'm not talking about in the offseason. I'm talking about what should they do, Eric, for the next 6 weeks. You got 6 weeks left. And I got some ideas that I think, and I want to throw those ideas at you. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. It all starts. I want, and I always go back to this. I want the fans to get something out of the final 6 weeks. So, listen, they need to play better in front of the home fans. They need to give them some excitement. I don't know if that's going to happen. So anyway, that's we all feel that way, right? We all want them to win more games. But the first thing I would do is I would leave Jung-Hoo Lee in the leadoff spot for the rest of the year. And I understand why Bob, he got off to a great start and then he struggled for a long time. And when a guy keeps struggling, you have to do something with him in the lineup. So I didn't have a problem with Bob dropping him down. And then he continued to struggle. He's been better lately. The on-base percentage is not great. 324. That's got to be better. He's got 28 doubles, which is a good number. He's got 10 triples, which is a good number. I think there's more there with him, Eric. I think, it's his first full year in the major leagues. He's playing every day. I think he's learning a lot. He's a very good defensive center fielder. I've said it all along. His baseball instincts are really good. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's a good base runner. So there's a lot of things there with him. And I feel like when it's all said and done, he's going to be a really good player. But there's things he's got to work on. But what I would do is put him back in that leadoff spot. He was in there today. And I would just leave him there and let him finish 6 weeks. Because you need a leadoff hitter next year. You need somebody that causes a little havoc. Giants don't have enough of those guys. They really don't have any of those guys if Jung-Hoo Lee isn't hitting. They need a couple. Right. We've talked about it. Marty's talked about it. We've all talked about it. They need some action guys. And I think he can be that. But we got to be a little patient with him because this is his first year in the big leagues. It's no different than a kid coming up from the minor leagues. But what do you think? I would leave him in the leadoff spot and just let him play it out and see how he does.
I like it. Yeah, why not? Because you hit the nail on the head talking about they need that leadoff hitter. And you remember at the trade deadline, what were we all talking about? A lot of people weren't talking about getting that big hitter. There was a lot of talk about going out there and getting Stephen Kwan.
Right? Yeah. And that's fine.
Right.
I team Stephen Kwan with Lee. Like I said, you're right, but that's the kind of player we're talking about.
Right.
Kind of a go-go guy, right? Energy guy.
Right. And if Lee could be your Stephen Kwan, man, that's huge. That is huge because Stephen Kwan, as you said, he gets things going. He's a great defender. He's got a little bit of pop. He's got the batting average. He'll take a walk and he runs all over the base. I mean, I love him as a player. So yes, Jung-Hoo Lee at the leadoff. I like it. That
leave him there. Yeah. And listen, and if Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be a real successful major league player, he needs to hit more than 255, 260. He needs to be a 275, 280 guy.
Right.
And he's not going to steal a ton of bases, but I think he could steal 20. But I think this is a learning year for him. It's a growing year for him. And I hope Giants fans are patient with that because I think there's a lot there. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's ever going to hit 25 home run, and that's not his game. So that's one thing I would do. Leave him in there and see how it goes. Landon Root. I like the kid. I think he's been pretty darn good this year. Mm-hmm. Let's be really careful with him in the final 6 weeks. Let him get his starts, but let's be careful with him. He hasn't pitched a lot of innings. Minor league innings are different than major league innings. Let's be careful with him. Let's get him to a number. And because he can be a big part of this whole thing next year. But you don't want to have to treat him with kid gloves next year.
Right.
So let's get some more innings, but let's be careful with him. And then hopefully what you have next year is a guy that, if healthy, can give you 160, 170 innings wise. So I'd be careful with Roop. I'd keep giving him his starts, but let's be careful with him.
I like that idea because look, elbow inflammation, those are two words you don't want to hear as a pitcher, right? And you might have to treat him with kid gloves. You just might have to. Again, you don't want to blow up his arm, because this guy could be a valuable piece. He could very well be maybe a number 3 next year.
He's good. Awesome. Yeah, he's a good pitcher and he's learning a lot and he's making progress. He's better. He's got a couple more pitches now. I mean, there's a lot there. You just want to, let him work through that. Let him get through this year. Don't worry about him going 6 innings. Let's just be careful with him because he could be a very important, part of this whole thing moving forward.
Absolutely. Because after next year, Robbie Ray may not be here and he's going to play a big part in this, I think. Yeah. I kind of had that same aspirations for Birdsong. Let's see what happens with him. His last outing in AAA was a little bit better, but I think Root's going to be a significant part in this rotation going forward.
All right. The next thing I would do is I would pick a young outfielder and run him out there. Now who that is, it may be Gilbert. We talked about him earlier. Mm-hmm. Fun player, energy guy. We don't know, how good he's going to be, obviously. Is it McRae? Is it Matos? Do you bring up Luciano, who's shown good power in AAA, but there's still the strikeouts. The outfield defense is just so-so. The batting average is low. I don't know who it is, but I hope they pick a kid and play him, run him out there. Now, if it's Gilbert, it's a nasty left. He has struggled against lefties in his minor league career. Then maybe, maybe don't run him out there against that, but somebody of these young kids, outfielders, needs to play almost every day the final 6 weeks. Who it is, I'll let the Giants decide. I would probably do Gilbert.
Okay. I can't disagree with the Gilbert. I'd rather see him. See McRae, maybe it's a little bit unfair, but God, the kid just strikes out too much. I mean, he's got all these gifts, but he's got a lot
of gifts. Yes, he does. Right. He does. He's got, he may have more tools than all 4 of the guys that I just mentioned individually. Mm-hmm. But he strikes out too much and he knows it, and the Giants know it, and they worked with him on it. And but it's an issue. But the tools are there, and that's what's. I almost feel bad for the kid because, he can run. He's a base stealer. He's a terrific defensive outfielder. He's got a good arm. He's got some pop. He's got a ton of tools. And we're talking about Grant McRae,
right?
But you can't strike out at a 40% clip. You just can't.
Right. Because Look who we just saw with Tampa Bay, Chandler,
Simpson, yeah.
Chandler Simpson.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, that's kind of like what McRae could be again if he would just cut down on the strikeouts, right?
Anyways, whoever it is, and like I said, it sort of looks like it may be the Gilbert kid. I'm fine with that. Let's pick a kid and see what you have.
Yes.
Again, this is all about next year, because you're going to need an outfield. I think the outfield needs to be looked at closely.
Yes.
And we love Elliot Ramos. Is he the long-term answer? Is he the kind of player the Giants are looking for? Is he the kind of player the Giants need right now? Those are all questions they're going to have to answer. But I think the outfield in general needs to be looked at closely. And I have felt that way for a while now.
Right, and to allude to your point, you're gonna see what you have for next year, because you might have to make a move maybe in the offseason to address that outfield. Because and to your point about Ramos, man, it's like his first year up last year, he looked great. This year, oh my God, it's like the wheels are coming off as far as his defense is concerned.
Yeah.
Little weird, right? Just a little. Maybe he's pressing. Maybe he feels like he's got to show a little bit more.
He can hit. He's a good hitter. He plays hard. I know that the Giants. I know Bob likes him a lot. He grinds hard. But like I said, is that somebody other teams would be really interested in? And we're not trying to trade him here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think all that needs to be looked at. Outfield needs to be looked at.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying. So, anyways, pick a young outfielder, stick with him, and see if maybe you have something. Now, this is going to be controversial. I am a no on Bryce Eldridge being called up. I've kind of felt that way. I know Marty says bring him up. What's it going to hurt? Well, I don't. It may hurt. The kid's going to, you're asking a lot. And I do think he needs to play first base. He's not great at it right now, but he needs to play every single day out there. And I'm talking about in AAA, because those game reps are what you need. Game reps are 10 times more important than, fielding fungos before the game, right? It's right. He needs to do that every day. Yep. Rafael Devers needs to do that every day as well, and he's going to do it at the big league level. I think Devers is going to, when it's all said and done, and I'll sit on this one, I think he will be fine at first base.
Yeah.
Played third base in the big leagues at Fenway for 6 years. He'll be fine there. But he needs to continue to play there and get better, and Eldridge needs to continue to play there and get better. On top of all that, as fun as it is to think about this kid, and I would love to see him put the Giants uniform on, but he's striking out at over 40% of the time in AAA. Now he's also hit home runs. He's got a lot of RBIs. There's production there, but I don't know that it's worth it for the final 6 weeks. That's all I'm saying. And Grant Brisbee, who I love Grant, his writing, he covers the Giants for The Athletic.
Good stuff.
Read him. When his article comes out, I'm on it. Mm-hmm. And he wrote a great article this week about should the Giants bring up Bryce Eldridge. If you get a chance, if you subscribe,
I'm going to have to take a look at it.
Check it out, because he makes great points. And he ultimately was like, no, I don't think they should, but his points are really strong, I think. So I'm a no on that, even though I know fans love to see him. I would love to see him, but I don't know that it's the right thing to do for the kid.
Right.
And, there's 6 weeks left. Let him finish. He's played a lot of baseball too.
He has.
He's been in Arizona Fall League, and sometimes it may be a good idea to let the kid finish AAA season, which is the middle of September, right? They play later than they used to. Mm-hmm. Maybe you got to let the kid go home,
maybe,
and catch his breath and rest a little bit. I don't know. I just so I'm a no. I'm a no. I don't know how you feel about it.
I've been talking about this often on the show, and I've been saying the same thing. I want him to be ready to go, right? Yeah. Don't just bring him up because you need a bat, because now you're not doing the right thing by him. Because if he's not ready to go, specifically where he's going to be batting, because look, you already got a DH, right? You got Flores, you got Dom Smith, you got Devers.
Yeah, that's the point. It's like,
where's he going to play?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you bring him up, you got to play him, but I just don't know that it's the right time.
And to your point, if he's got like a 30 to 40% strikeout rate in AAA, where do you think that's going to be once you come up to the big league? It's totally different.
It's probably going to be worse.
Right, and then what could it do? If he's strong mentally, okay, he'll be fine, but we don't know. And I'd rather him be ready to go, because I want to see him. I want him to be part of it, right? I want him to be part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the fan in me is going to be great to see him, but I'm not sure it's the right thing. I don't know that it's worth it at this point to bring him up for 6 weeks when things are tough with the team, and you know, I just, to me, it's just not. I mean, he's 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's the right time yet.
Right. As a September call-up, I'm not. I mean, that's okay, but
but
I think he's got to play. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to take reps away from Devers and Dom Smith in September?
Oh, I do. I feel pretty strongly that if, I think Devers is going to be your first baseman for a while. Eldridge may be your DH, and I've said it on this show. If you have those two guys, and you do this a little bit,
that's fine.
For the next 3 or 4 years, that's awesome.
I know, right?
I mean, that's
win-win.
But I think Devers needs to continue to play at first. He has shown improvement already. I think
he has.
Sometimes he looks a little clunky over there, but I think he'll be fine there. But he needs to. This is an important 6 weeks for him. He's not going anywhere, Eric. No, he's going to be a Giant for a long time. Let's find a spot for him. And first base is really the only spot. So anyways, that's my call there. Those are some of my should and should nots for the Giants here in the finals.
Like that. That's
you like stuff. It?
Yeah, right. That's good stuff. I like the shoulds and should nots. Right. Nice.
All right, let's finish with this.
Ooh.
I thought the Dodgers flexed their muscles a little bit. The Dodgers this week got swept by the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
Padres come into Dodger Stadium, and the Padres are strutting in, feeling good. They got a 1-game lead in the division. What happens? Dodgers sweep them this weekend, win 3-2 on Friday, win 6-0 on Saturday, and they win today 5-4. To me, that's a little strut move by the Dodgers.
Yep.
Because the Padres, listen, we go there and take 2 out of 3. We got a 2-game lead. They come to our ballpark next weekend. We got the Giants coming in. We can take care of the Giants. So, we don't like to do it, but I got to give the Dodgers some credit. I thought they put a little strut on the Padres.
They did.
Right? I mean, that's
they
what
did.
I was checking the game today, and they won late. It's amazing how baseball does that, though. Baseball always knocks you down and puts you in your spot.
It does.
I got to think the Padres had a really good feel going into that series, and it just didn't work out.
And hopefully, maybe the Giants caught them at a bad time. Maybe Giants can win the series. That would be nice. Why not? Yep. Why not go out there and win a series against the Padres when they're reeling a little? Maybe they didn't expect to get swept, as you said. Maybe that kind of, sometimes there's a lingering effect, right? When you got series like that, especially when, as you said, they just went ahead in the NL West.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, here comes.
But too, what it does, Eric, is the Dodgers are 8-2 versus the Padres this year. So they have won the season series.
Mm-hmm.
They will play next weekend in San Diego, a 3-game series, but the Dodgers have won the season series. So they own the tiebreaker. That's a big deal.
It is.
I think they're going to be like this the rest of the way. I can see that being close, but if they finish tied, the tiebreaker is, well, who won the season series? So really, if you're the Padres, you can't tie them.
Nope.
You got to finish one game ahead of them. So, that's a thing too. And the Giants are going to have something to say about it. Giants play the Dodgers 7 times yet.
Could play spoiler.
Good stuff, right?
Right.
That's good stuff. So I wanted to get your feeling on that Padres Dodgers series and what you think is going to happen the rest of the year.
Yeah, and Dodgers, I mean, look, they got their starting pitchings coming back. Blake Snell's had a couple of good starts. Now they did suffer. What is it, Max Muncy? I think he's gonna be on the IL if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and then of course you got Shohei and Freeman. They got the All-Stars, but it's a great series to watch because those two, they got some bad blood. So any time those two teams go head to head, it's fun baseball to watch. Just for the simple fact they're both evenly matched right now as far as the records going, and it's going to be fun to see it go down to the wire. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the Giants could come in and affect it one way or another, whether it's for the Dodgers or the Padres. So at least
I agree. You got it. I mean, it's as hard as it is. I mean, I talked about it on my last show that, unfortunately, I think the gap's been wide between the Dodgers and the Giants for a while. And I think the gap is widening a little bit with the Padres. Now Giants have to figure out how to close that gap. They got to figure out how to do that starting this offseason. But it's the NL West. It's, 3 great organizations. Padres have turned their organization into a terrific organization. The ballpark's the place to be, so it's 3 good organizations who are kind of jockeying. And right now, the Giants, they need to figure out how to get back up there. And we'll see if they can do that. But it's good. It's fun baseball. Like I look forward to seeing what happens in the National League West, even if the Giants aren't on top, which is, that's what we all want. But that's not always going to be the case. So, but
exactly,
it's baseball.
It's right, exactly, and to a certain extent, right, Glenn? I mean, this is Buster Posey's first year as president of baseball operations. He's getting a lay of the land. Yeah. Let's see, what do I have here to work with? Yes, you've had one off season, but you really didn't know what you had, right? Yeah. Now he's been there. He knows. He's seen the warts, so to speak. So this off season is going to be interesting to see.
I think it's going to be fascinating. I do, because I think Buster and his guys, I think they have a specific type of player that they want on their team. Mm-hmm. Now, they're not going to tell us who is or isn't their type of player on this team. Right. You can try to figure it out. They're not going to tell you. But I think if they don't think a guy is the type of player or it's what they need, I think they'll trade him.
That's fair.
And isn't that sort of, the way
that's your job
is to be, right? Have a type of player you want. And if somebody doesn't fit that, then maybe you make a deal.
Yep.
I don't know. But I do know that that group, Buster and Zach and Jeremy and the whole gang, they know what the kind of guy they want.
Gotcha. And, I got a feeling they're going to be laser focused.
I don't know if you and I fit their kind of player, Eric. I really don't. Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh well. All right, Eric, I'm going to let you go. I got to pay homage to our sponsors, but Eric Romo has been our guest again. His show is Giants Sports Talk Live. It's terrific, very successful. He's one of the good guys in this business. I'm learning from him
Glenn.
every day. So, Eric, thanks for having me on, and I'm sure we'll cross paths probably tomorrow by phone.
Yeah, probably. Hey, we got to get some stuff done. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we do. So awesome. Thanks, Eric. Have a good one, buddy.
You too. Take care.
Eric Romo has been our guest talking Giants baseball after a Giants win this afternoon at Oracle Park. And now they head out for a tough road trip. San Diego for 4, Milwaukee for 3. We're going to come your way on Wednesday. That'll be a pregame edition for the Giants Padres game 3 of that series. Grant Brisby, I mentioned Grant, terrific writer for the Athletic, covers the Giants. He's going to be my guest, so I'm super excited about that. He knows a lot about what's going on, what's good and what's bad. So we will kick that around again. The next show, Glen Kuiper Show, All Giants, will be on Wednesday. It'll be a pregame show for the Giants and the Padres. So write that down. All right, tonight's show has been brought to you in part by the Carrig Real Estate Team. They've been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service. Contact Mike Carrig today for a free home sale or purchase consultation. You can contact Mike at 925-548-4132. Go to their website. All you need to know, carrigteam.com. And we are also brought to you in part by the good folks at Tilden Properties. As an investor, one of the best places to put your money is California's multifamily real estate. By investing with Tilden Property, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. That's Tilden Properties. Give them a call at 925-209-8558 or go to their website at tildenproperties.com. Thanks to the sponsors, as always. Thanks to my guest, Eric Romo. And again, our next show will be on Wednesday. And also on the Glen Kuiper Show on the YouTube channel, we're going to kick out a new of one of the Friday Night Kipes shows from the Gotham Club that Dwayne and I do. We do those every Friday night home game, a little post game for a live audience, and we're starting to put those out just audio of those shows out on my channel. There's a couple out there, and we'll have a new one of those out this week as well. So good stuff on my YouTube channel. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Keep watching, keep listening, and keep subscribing. And I love your comments. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'm Glen Kuiper. We will see you on Wednesday with another edition of the Glen Kuiper Show, All Giants. Have a good one, everybody.